You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham, and today we are presented by Manscaped. The month of March is here, which means March Madness is around the corner, and you don't want your girl to be mad. Stay nice and tidy with all of the best men's grooming products from Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping with promo code BEARS20 when you go to manscaped.com. Some quick news, and then we'll get into some press conference takeaways here from Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. But the Bears in the last hour or so have made a contract signing. They have signed linebacker Joe Thomas, who has kind of bounced around, spent last year in Houston for a little bit, was with the Cowboys for a little while, and actually for a little bit was a decent backer. Depth linebacker. This is like a number 4 type of backer that can give you some punch on special teams as well. I would not view this as a starting piece next to Roquan Smith, but the Bears have a lot of roster spots to fill, especially for the 90-man roster, and I view Thomas as a guy that potentially competes for a 53-man roster spot once we get into training camp. So there is the news on that. Before we get into my 5 takeaways from today's Bears press conferences, I want to say, first of all, thank you guys. We crossed 43,000 subscribers. That is a huge accomplishment for this channel. Let's keep it moving, though. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now for more Bears videos, Chicago Bears news, rumors, combines this week, free agency starting soon. The NFL draft is just around the corner. We will have you guys covered all offseason long, so subscribe, and let's keep this momentum going here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, now it's time to get into those Bears press conference takeaways. Ryan Poles spoke to the media at about 11 a.m. this morning, and then Matt Eberflus following up just a little bit ago at 1 o'clock Central Time. 5 takeaways. Let's start with number 1. I think the offensive line will be a major focus, and that sounds obvious, but the more you hear from these guys, especially Ryan Poles with his offensive line background, you just think they're going to invest a little bit in the offensive line. Poles said at his press conference that they're going to change up the style of the offensive line. Specifically, he said he wants this unit to get faster, quicker. Some of that will come with nutrition and how these guys eat and work out in the weight room and all that stuff, but some of that will probably come with new players as well. He did mention this too because he was asked about guys currently on the roster and potentially what type of guys they want to bring in. He said, look, it's simple. The best 5 will play. Obviously some of that is positional based, but he said the best 5 will play. Well, you look at what you currently have, and it's I don't know if you have 5 guys that could currently go out there under contract and play. I mean, Teven Jenkins, Cody Whitehair, and Larry Borom are under contract, but Jason Peters is a free agent. He'll probably just retire. James Daniels is a free agent. We'll see if he returns. Sam Mustipher is an exclusive rights free agent. I personally don't view him as a starting option at center, so I think there's a good chance that he is gone as well. If he returns, maybe he's a backup. But one other note from Ryan Poles specifically is the Bears did not say where Teven Jenkins will play. They were non-committal on that front. They were kind of non-committal across the board. Eberflus later mentioned they haven't made a final decision on Roquan Smith if he's going to play Mike linebacker or Will. I think he'll play Will, but we'll see what happens there. But as far as the O-line goes, I think a big part of how you address the offensive line and free agency in the draft is first deciding, A, how do you view Teven Jenkins, and B, is he a left tackle, is he a right tackle, is he a guard? We'll have to wait and find out how Poles in this regime view him. Where will Jenkins play on the offensive line in your guys' eyes? Predict it for me. I get this weird feeling they're going to kick him back out to right tackle and go sign a proven left tackle, but I might be wrong. We'll see how that shakes out. Give me a prediction. Where will Teven Jenkins play on the Bears' offensive line? Next takeaway from today's Bears press conference is the Bears are high on Justin Fields, at least his potential. I think they're in a spot where they're like, okay, he's our starter. We like his upside. Let's see what we can do to build around him. Here's what Ryan Poles had to say earlier today. Quote, there's a high ceiling. It's just putting him in a position to succeed and seeing how high that ceiling really is. And that is a spot where the last regime failed. I thought they did a good job, Pace and Nagy, to identify Fields and draft him, but they didn't give him reps in the offseason. They didn't get the proper pieces around him. That's up to the Bears now to instill that confidence in him, but also build the pieces around him. Get him a much better, at least an improved offensive line. Get him some better receivers beyond Darnell Mooney. It is up to Chicago to get the best out of this young quarterback, and that's up to Ryan Poles and this coaching staff led by Matt Eberflus. Eberflus was high on Luke Getsy. He talked a lot about him at today's presser, and now it's up to these guys to get the best out of this talented quarterback that showed signs last year. Certainly didn't light it up in terms of raw statistics, but we saw the potential. I've showed you guys the advanced analytics of him as a vertical passer. I think Justin Fields, with the right coaching and the right pieces around him, can be a damn good quarterback in this league. Now it's up to this regime to put the right pieces and the right coaching around him to get the best out of him. Do you, I'm asking you, the Bears fans, believe in Justin Fields? Forget about all the external factors. Do you believe in him? It's a simple yes or no. Type B for believe, yes. Type D for don't, no. Let me know in the comment section. Point number 3, the Bears won't overpay early in free agency. We heard Ryan Poles during his introductory press conference say, we'll attack the second and third waves of free agency, and we're kind of like, okay, what does that mean? Is that like a week after free agency starts? Is it sooner? Is it later? He kind of defined that today, the second wave of a couple days in. So don't expect the Bears to throw $50 million out there on day one of free agency on 3 different players or something like that. It doesn't mean they won't sign a guy the first day or two, but they'll be patient. They're gonna gauge the market, and they want to get better value of the players they do sign. So we'll see how that shakes out. March 14th is when kind of the early wave starts. That's the tampering period, but that's when deals start to get agreed upon. And then March 16th, when deals can become official, maybe that's really the second wave of free agency once some of the high-price guys come off the board. So we'll see what happens. Doesn't mean they're not going to be in the mix for some big names. Just means, for example, a Teron Armstead might be a guy that they're not be in the mix for because they're not going to overpay for him. Now, today's show is sponsored by our good friends Manscaped, rocking the shirt today. In the Ultra Premium Collection, you can see the GIF right there, is a 5-piece collection here to stay clean, stay high, keep that body nice, that body hygiene going. You don't want to be grimy when you show up to work. You never like that look whatsoever. The Ultra Premium Collection is $39.99 when you use promo code BEARS20, 20% off. It comes with a shampoo and conditioner bottle, body spray, body wash. You got to use that deodorant, stay nice and fresh underneath. Listen, March Madness is here. You don't want to be grimy and keep your wife upset. Avoid the upset. Keep things nice and tidy. Manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20. Also, a bonus in the Ultra Premium Collection comes with 3 little tubes of lip balm with high-quality ingredients. So go check that out. Manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20. Link will be in the comments and the description of this video. Point number 4, this regime values character and effort. That's something consistently you hear when you hear Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, is how much they value, effort and want to and those type of things. Character. Eberflus talked about getting to know the guys currently on the roster on a personal level. He also talked about, look, a player's tape is a player's resume. Actions speak louder than words, he said. And I thought that was a good point because, look, if I sit you down, I can, there's good BSers in the world. You can convince anybody of just about anything, but what do your actions show? And that's the tape for a football player. So they're going to value film study for both for prospects, for current guys on the roster, and for free agents as well. They've been hard at work, as Eberflus mentioned basically that they set up, kind of film studies for every single position group, and they studied a lot of that leading up to the NFL Combine. How confident are you in the Poles and Eberflus pairing? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being not at all, bring back Nagy and Pace. Not doing that. 10 being you are very confident this is the unit that's going to bring a Super Bowl back to Chicago. Let me know, how confident are you in this new head coach and GM? Okay, takeaway number 5, pun on words there, Eberflus preaches takeaways. We heard this during their opening presser a few weeks back, but this defense is going to be built around taking the football away. Eberflus talks about fundamentals of punching the ball out, the peanut punch, get your hands on the football, getting after the quarterback, creating fumbles. He's talked about having ball hawks at the cornerback position as well as you look at this secondary. And, you think about this secondary, how it's currently construed. Jalen Johnson is someone who fits that mold, but are there anyone else that fit that mold? Eddie Jackson in the past has been a guy that can take the ball away, but I don't think any other corners beyond Jalen Johnson have proven that. Thomas Graham flashed ball skills late in the season, but we have not seen enough of him. So I think you could see the Bears sign a DB or two and certainly draft a couple as well. So monitor that. And, this defense is going to try to take the ball away. That's what the Colts did really, really well. Some of their raw stats didn't jump off the page, in terms of yards allowed, but takeaways, the Colts were near the top this past season. Okay, so Eberflus, Poles, they both spoke today. Grade the combined press conferences here on Bears Now, ABCDRF. I thought it was professional. I thought, they revealed as much as they could, and certainly better than the last regime. So give me a letter grade, get that red pen out, and let us know how you thought Poles and Eberflus did.